All right, here's another question we asked. Is the Mississippi River longer or shorter than 500 miles? Then we asked people to guess the actual length. Here are their responses.
Longer.
And how long do you think it is?
Must be close to 1,000 miles.
Longer? Maybe 1,200?
Longer than 500 miles, about 700 miles.
Then we asked another group of people a similar question. Is the Mississippi River longer or shorter than 5,000 miles? We also asked them to guess the actual length.
I think it's shorter, probably about 2,500 miles long.
Shorter, about 2,000.
Shorter. Between 2,000 and 3,000 miles.
The actual length of the Mississippi River is 2,348 miles. When we asked longer or shorter than 500 miles, the average answer was only about 1,000 miles. Longer or shorter than 5,000 miles, the average was 2,000 miles. How typical is it to get such divergent answers to problems such as that?
This is quite a common pattern. This phenomenon may be described as an anchoring effect, in which the initial number, even though it's not a very credible estimate of the quantity in question, pulls the estimate, the final estimate, in this direction.
Danny, is this anchoring bias limited to estimates of numbers, or does it hold for things that don't involve numbers at all?
Well, it's not limited to numbers. And the general psychological principle here is that when you have information or an impression floating in your head, even when it's discredited or you don't quite believe it, it tends to have the weight of a suggestion and to pull your impressions toward itself. And that's the essence of the anchoring phenomenon. So if, for example, you once believed something, or you were given information about an individual, say, or about yourself, which later turned out to be false, you don't completely wipe the scale and start afresh. Some residue of the initial impression is still there. So the anchoring effect is much broader than a numerical thing.